We got one more thing we can go over. We got fucking Paddy Gower's shit.
Oh, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got time. We got 20 minutes.
All right.
May as well.
Do you want me to open it?
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah. So I got
that.
two here. If you want, like, he's talking quite slow, so if you want to speed it up, you can easily do that and get away with it. It shouldn't be an issue.
How high? 1.25 or 1.15?
Go 1.25.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll let Paddy explain himself. Yeah, but I saw this week and I was just, it was bizarre. I don't know.
Am I gonna hate this?
Kind
So
of.
I have slowly been becoming not a fan of Paddy Gower.
You're gonna hate this.
Oh man, did we go through all the good stuff? Oh no, I've got one good thing left for us, guys.
Good.
Thank fuck.
Let's power through this then.
All right, let's go.
All these events going on around the country, and so you were asked to be involved.
Yeah, phone call. Got a phone call and.
Oh, context. He's talking about COVID.
We're thinking of having a vaccine.
Yes.
That was it. He's just
so
talking
this is a
about during
conversation. Did COVID break New Zealand quarantine nation?
Yes.
On and using Avalon Studios. I was a strong proponent of the vaccine. I'd been reporting on it and watching things happening. And personally, I was really worried that our health system wouldn't stand up. I remember not long before it, I'd interviewed some doctors and nurses from the intensive care in Wellington who, were saying we're just going to be crushed.
And they were.
We're just going to be crushed by this if people don't get vaccinated. And, all these different things I knew in my area. There's lots of Māori and Pacifica and got a lot to do with people in health and in my home area as well. And I know they were worried. And so, I was keen to, get vaccinated myself. I was keen to encourage other people to get vaccinated. And then, the Vaxxalon came along. So a couple of things. I mean, obviously it was a good chance to promote that, but hadn't been doing a lot of work either over by that stage it was nearly 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
People won't like this because of how divisive the vaccine is, but it did actually sound like fun to go along and encourage people. Yeah. And I know that's going to sound bad to a lot of people, but
no,
that's part of what I was thinking. And the other part
why?
Was,
why does he think? That's where the interview starts getting fucking weird. It's like, what? What do you mean that's going to sound bad to a lot of people? What? Citation.
Wow, I mean, I guess, are we talking about cookers?
I think we're talking about cookers, yeah.
That's what I was assuming.
Yeah.
Cool to be part of something like this and boost the vaccination rates as well and try and get us out of this mess. The rest is there for everybody to see, dancing around and, however many hours it was of... It was actually fun to do it. It was really fun to do it. I know that's going to hurt a lot of people saying that, but it is what it is. And I understand now that me being in the vaccine made a lot of people angry.
Well, just before we talk about that, so did it cross your mind at all that there would be any potential blowback, or and also did you consider, am I crossing a journalistic line here?
Yes, trotally. And
I've been feeling what journalistic line was crossed?
Put stuff.
Wow, I guess if they're telling people, because this thing they always like to tout it as you're telling people what to do, as if the way that our journalism isn't already like fucking leaning towards incentivizing you what to do anyway.
I mean, it's not like he's ordering people. It's not like he's saying do this or die.
This feels like, I don't know, is this guy more on the right? Because it feels like they're trying to like be really very sympathetic to the cooker side, very like,
That's something look, in some ways I don't blame him because he does explain that in some way, and I think I appreciate his retrospective in trying to sympathize or empathize with these people. But I really do. I think it's important that you think about other people, in people on the other side of you who might be misunderstood, and think about where they're coming from, their sides of things. But that doesn't mean you completely cave to technical difficulties. Doesn't mean you completely cave to their ideals and point of view. I think he goes more into... Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. I might turn it up to 1.5 though.
Turn out 1.5.
Definitely
honestly.
On the fucking American side.
He's so slow.
My Instagram about getting vaccinated, and I'd deliberately gone down and got vaccinated.
Can you turn the captions on?
I deliberately gone down and got vaccinated with a tucker.
Sorry about that.
community, someone I knew who's Tokoloa and had asked me to come down and get vaccinated there and put it on my social media. They live around the corner from me. There's a big community. So I said, I could do that for you. And then the second time I went to the local marae and, in both times I, thought about it beforehand. Yeah, I knew that I was starting to cross a line.
What line?
Into being pro-vaccine. And the media
how's that a line?
But again, he's stated what the line is. The line is anti-vax versus pro-vax.
Yeah.
That's just...
But he's saying a journalistic line. Like, what's the moral issue here?
Because they're trying to imply that journalists who put
should
out
be
anything...
objective.
No, they're trying to imply that that everything to do with vaccines is like this twisted thing, and that a journalist to speak about this in a positive way is crossing a moral line because they think that that's that whole they're just telling you to inject the 5G. It's like, nah, dude. It's more like, have you heard of science? Have you I feel like even as kids, maybe not kids, but I knew what herd immunity was. At least since high school. Well, actually probably intermediate, because that's when we got all of our meningococcal B vaccines and stuff started coming out.
We'll get into herd immunity, I think, a bit later in the second clip. It's actually relevant to that one.
But yeah, I think that's just that's the line. He's saying journalists can either be pro or anti, and there's no fucking in between. I don't like the way he's feeding this shit, eh?
No.
Pro-vaccine. Everybody I knew was pro-vaccine, and just all around. And that's no excuse. You've still got to do things, but I knew that I was starting to cross a line. And then with the vaxathon, something I could have said no to. I had a good think about it, and I said, I'm gonna go out there and promote this thing and try and play a small bit and get New Zealand out of this hole we're in. Was the way I looked at it.
And then
you stood up for what you believed in.
How quickly did some fallout come?
Fallout about being pro-vaccine, pretty much. I mean,
see the way he says that of so how long? I feel like what he's trying to say is, how long was it until you were wrong? That's they're very clearly just trying to be like they're dancing around it.
They are,
but it's so fucking obvious. Oh, all right, I'll let them talk.
I can't remember when it started, but I would have thought it started on the day.
Right,
it would have been what I would have thought.
Yeah.
I would have thought it started on the day, and you see it through your Facebook. That would be the main place. I've got a big Facebook, a big Facebook following.
Of course, fucking is.
Posted in those days quite a lot on there, and still do. And I think through your Facebook, really, instantly, people would probably have been.
Well, he's saying he's also saying he only sticks to Facebook.
Sticks around Facebook, yeah.
Talk about shit sample group.
I know.
At the bare minimum, be posting on all social media platforms so you can at least go, well, I wasn't going to listen to the people on Twitter, but between Facebook and Instagram and sorry, I'll let them talk.
To me on the day of the vaxathon. Yeah.
And we're talking, more than 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
Have people forgotten?
I would say that I'm reminded of the vaxathon nearly every day. Yeah, and mainly in comments on Facebook.
Is he trying to say that like it's the biggest regret of his life?
Yeah, it sounds like it. Like that's how he's painting it. And we won't keep going down this clip because I'm not sure how.
I'm gonna fucking nitpick everything he says.
Yeah, because he's saying it's mostly Facebook, but later on he goes like people come up to him in public and stuff and say it to him and say I used to trust you, blah blah blah, and get on his case. So honestly, it really sounds like he's just being fucking harassed nonstop, and he's just
cookers are horrible people who like to impose themselves on others.
Yes, exactly.
Then they make it out like it's fucking homeless people who are doing it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll move on to the second clip.
Fuck this. Oh, I used to respect you, Paddy.
I know. I
literally, like, the same year I actually finally met him in person and took a photo with him was the same year in which he fucking started doing that stupid National Party propaganda.
You know what's really weird about this, by the way?
Let me down.
Notice the logo? It's Stuff. This is Stuff branded. This is Stuff approved.
Of course it is.
Yeah, like, the fuck? So here he is talking about, going into the classic friend of a friend anecdote type thing. So we'll listen to what he's got.
Let him.
We'll have to get his name again. But, guy is a friend of a friend or whatever, and someone wanted to get in touch and talk to me, and he'd taken the vaccine, this fella, and he had myocarditis or pericarditis, one of the heart things.
Oh my God, that's fucking bullshit.
And him and his partner had both been pro-vaccine, very pro-vaccine. They came from that really traditional kind of New Zealand.
Sorry, can I just cut in here and say, is he essentially just going to go through an anecdote of a single case of people who were pro-vaccine, a health thing happened, now they're anti-vax? Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, you called it. That's us.
I don't want to.
Well, no. I mean, we don't have to,
we'll let him.
Well, okay. Well,
we can let him speak if you want.
Let him say a shitty piece.
I guess.
Is he at 1.5?
And proficient.
No, I don't think he is. I just realised.
Beat this man up.
That, everybody was pretty much pro-vaccine, right? And anyway, this fella ended up with
following the social norms.
Pericarditis and myocarditis, and he'd nearly died a couple of times after the vaccine. And he had all these, be familiar to journalists, he had all these medical forms and stuff and bits highlighted and different doctors and all these frustrations. And basically he'd found it really hard to be believed in the medical system. And interviewing him, his own family didn't really believe him.
Okay,
and
all right. Pause
here's all the evidence and everything. The guy.
Well, you haven't shown any evidence, so don't bring up evidence. You're saying a friend of a friend whose name you can't even fucking remember, apparently. But
yeah, fuck, that's right.
Yeah, but like, given the assumption everything he's saying is accurate and true, that's not an issue with the vaccine. There's nothing to do with you advocating for the fucking vaccine. That was an issue with the medical system and the procedure they went through and all that stuff. Assuming it's true, fucked up. That shouldn't have happened. Doctors should listen. But again, we were talking about herd immunity the other day. Just before the other clip, and given everyone was vaccinating who can be vaccinated, this man wouldn't need to. He wouldn't have needed to. Wouldn't have been necessary because he'd been protected just through herd immunity. So, again, what the fuck point are you trying to make? And I watched this entire thing. Never does he directly state at all any figure now 60% of people regret COVID or the vaccine or so. He doesn't go into any specifics. It's all vagaries like this. Just
of course it would be. It's all this kind of dog whistling fucking. I'm not quite saying it's this, but.
But
also, I disliked the video.
Yeah, but we'll stop fucking watching that. But I just thought we'll go because I just did a quick 20-minute.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, well, no, I've got them here. But
you
you can read them off as I go through them one by one. The title there. Sure. But so I'm just going through a bunch of different polls from this is May 2020. There's a 65% of respondents would aim to get vaccinated. 53% of responders would take a medically approved COVID-19 vaccine. That was February 2021. 2 out of 3 Kiwis support vaccine. That was from March 2021. 74% of Kiwis support workforce mandate vaccines. November 2021. 64% of COVID-19 mandates policy. February 2022. 69% of people support the COVID response. Was this the right one? I think so. Yes. And this last one, so the Ministry of Health, this one is from 2024. So this is probably the most accurate information I could find, was the Ministry of Health released this it's gigantic, 77 pages. But essentially the conclusion is 61% are likely or very likely to vaccinate if another pandemic happens. So that's 60. It's almost 2/3. And putting it into context of recent polls, that's the opposite of what Chris Luxon's having, essentially, which is less than 1/3 of the country supports him. And just for a bit more context, about 19% undecided, 20% opposed. So it isn't even 40% against.
Yeah.
20% undecided there. And just as an asterisk there, they did find vaccine hesitation is higher than before COVID, and trust has eroded somewhat. So they're, just some context there. But all the data I could find from my journalistic integrity, from the reporting I could do, is majority people support vaccines, support the response that the government made, all these things. So he's just caving to a fucking loud minority, which is just
is he caving, or is he purposefully feeding though? I don't necessarily want to assume that, you know, his intentions are good, because you know, I did used to really like the guy. I still stand by a lot of his, you know, Paddy Gower on series. I think he did great there, like, but ever since, like, and I understand, you know, that things changed within the media landscape, they lost funding and all of that stuff, but it just feels like, okay, what, are you just turning right-wing grift because you know that's how to make money now? Like, I don't know, it just feels yuck.
Yeah, fuck knows. Because I remember when he came out with, like, the remember when he came out defending Gandalf? That was fucking based. Do you remember that?
Not coming to the top of my head.
Gandalf the Green Fury. Remember he was arrested?
Not coming to it. Yeah, vaguely, but I don't remember, like, the exact specific.
Yeah, but Paddy came out with a video defending him, basically, so, which was pretty cool. But yeah.
Well, okay, but hey, to put it this way, David Seymour is also currently really advocating to push up our cannabis export. People can be both a little liberal, but also, and I think someone referenced, was it, I saw in the comments, tuning into our Joe Rogan a little. And I mean, I wouldn't say far off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like it.
No, fuck that. I just thought I'd bring that to people's attention because I found that went a little under the radar. It's fucking weird.
I've been definitely not paying attention to him since it for me, the nail in the coffin was that whole Luxon's wife fucking propaganda piece that he did when Luxon was struggling. I'm like, nah, man, I'm off you now. Like, I'll still watch some of his stuff if it's good, but I'm taking it a lot more with a grain of salt at the moment, I think.